Let's go Nats. It's a World Series in Washington, D.C. Let's go Nats. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Muriel Bowser. I'm the mayor of the best city in the world and soon to be World Series champions. We are so excited to bring the World Series to Washington, D.C. for the first time in 86 years, and even more excited to be bringing a 2-0 lead back to Nats Park. We have been very serious about building a D.C. sports capital. We've had a few skeptics along the way, but I don't think they're skeptics any longer. We have a Stanley Cup, a WNBA championship, and now the World Series. And we all know that D.C. is the best in the business when it comes to hosting big national events. We do it all the time for our First Amendment activities. We did it for the Stanley Cup. We also recently hosted the MLB All-Star Week, and now we'll do it again for the World Series. So today we're here to talk about the steps we're taking to make sure that everybody participating in World Series festivities can do so safely. The Nats need 4 wins to take the series, and we have 4 tasks as fans. Don't drive to the ballpark. Arrive early. Drink responsibly and cheer loudly. Are you with me? Fans and visitors can also get information about all things World Series at sportscapital.dc.gov, sportscapital.dc.gov, and by texting NATS, N-A-T-S, to 888-777. We're also encouraging everyone to do their part tomorrow. As mayor, I'm declaring it Show Your Spirit Day in Washington, D.C., and especially in D.C. government. So show your spirit and wear your red. And we are joined by several members of our public safety and special events teams. You're going to hear from a couple of them, and then we will be able to take a few questions. We're joined today by the Chief of Police, Peter Newsham, Chris Rodriguez, who is the Director of DCHCMA, Homeland Security, Gregory Dean, the Fire Chief. We're also joined by the General Manager for Metro, or WMATA, the President of Events DC, and also members of our Capitol Riverfront bid. Part of my administration also represented include DDOT and our 911 call center, as well as our for-hire vehicle section. So with that, I'm going to ask the Chief of Police to come up, followed by our Director of HCMA, Chris Rodriguez. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Mayor Bowser. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us outside here of Nationals Park, home of the National League champion, Washington Nationals. Can we give them a round of applause? Only took 86 years, so in 2 games. So let me extend a sincere thanks to all the residents, workers, and businesses in this immediate area. We know some of them will be inconvenienced and have been inconvenienced to accommodate this championship run. And we definitely appreciate their understanding and their patience. The city of Washington, D.C. prides itself on professionally handling large-scale events. And similar to the Major League Baseball All-Star Game and the Caps Stanley Cup run, we are prepared. By now, I hope everyone has reviewed the list of road closures and parking restrictions that will be in place throughout this weekend. As a point of reference, the road closures and parking restrictions that were in effect for Game 4 of the National League Championship Series will be mirrored during the home World Series games. In the event that the Nationals clinch the series this weekend, we will likely need to extend road closures into the early morning hours. Throughout the weekend, MPD will have increased staffing in and around the ballpark and around our nightlife areas across the city, particularly those that will be hosting watch parties. We will also have sufficient staffing to ensure that police services are not impacted in our patrol districts. We obviously anticipate excited crowds, and we want to remind people to have fun safely and responsibly. Washington, D.C. has a proud history of celebrating responsibly and with class, and we certainly don't want to ruin that reputation. We're urging folks to avoid driving in the area of the stadium and to take advantage of the many alternative transportation options that are available. At this time, there are no credible threats to the nation's capital for this upcoming weekend. If you are bringing young children to the ballpark, please talk to them prior to arrival in the event you get separated from them. If you do get separated from a young person or someone who needs help, there will be plenty of Metropolitan Police Department officers out here able to assist in reuniting you. As a reminder, carrying open containers of alcohol in the District of Columbia is prohibited. And as always, we remind everyone not to drink and drive. MPD will have both uniformed and non-uniformed officers working this weekend's games. So just because you don't see a police officer doesn't mean there isn't a police officer there. If you are going to purchase tickets, please do so from a trusted source. And as you have heard before from law enforcement, if you see something suspicious, please say something to a law enforcement officers. Lastly, there may be some questions about a potential celebratory championship parade. If in the event we have a parade, we will share those details with you. I was told I have to, and I'm happy to do it. Put on my... And because of the pitching that I saw last night, I'm going to wear it just like that. I'm now going to call Chris Rodriguez to the stand.
That's kind of hard to follow, but I already had my hat on, Chief. So, good afternoon. I'm Chris Rodriguez, Director of the D.C. Homeland Security and Emergency Management Agency. Thank you, Mayor Bowser, and to members of her team who are here. As was said before, the district's primary goal over the next few days is to ensure the safety of those residents and visitors who are heading to Navy Yard to cheer on the Nats. I can't stress enough the importance of signing up for the district's free text service. This is how we will communicate important information to the public, like updates on weather, transit, traffic, safety, and more. Fans can text NATS, so that's N-A-T-S, to 888-777 to sign up for alerts from the district. Let me say that again. That's NATS to 888-777. That's 888-777. To ensure a safe and enjoyable experience for all the fans who come here to the ballpark, Mayor Bowser has instructed the district's emergency operations center to be activated during all home games for the World Series. This Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the Emergency Operations Center will be staffed by a handful of district, federal, and regional partners to facilitate interagency cooperation and information sharing. Crowds here in this area in Navy Yard will be large. And if you're traveling to games or watch parties with a group, as the chief said, make sure that you have a meeting spot in case you are separated from friends or family. With large crowds expected, it's important that everyone who comes here has an emergency plan. And if traveling with a group, you need to establish a prearranged meeting area in case you're separated from friends and family. Can't stress that enough. Thank you, and I will turn it over to the General Manager of WMATA.
Afternoon. Not to be outdone by the chief. Not a big hat wearer, as you can see. All right. First and foremost, on behalf of Metro employees, let me say that we are so proud to serve the sports capital, as Mayor Bowser so rightly calls it, and our championship teams, first the Capitals, then the Mystics, and soon, and hopefully, the Nationals. I don't want to jinx anything. We are also proud to support the district and the Mayor Bowser as we provide the best way to travel to the games and other activities this weekend. You will see our bus and train operators and station managers all wearing Nationals World Series caps as part of the uniform this weekend to show their support for the home team, like Mr. Lee and Mr. Hernandez behind me, our bus operator and train operator. Thank you. And if I could just take one moment, Mr. Lee is what we call a million miler. He has driven a bus with more than 1 million miles without an accident. And the top of that is actually at 2.5 million miles now. He's working on 3 million miles. So thank you, Mr. Lee, for being so safe in your daily operations. We're also going to show our support across the entire region with Go Nats messaging proudly displayed on the destination signs of the 1,500 Metro buses and National World Series messages on the digital screens at the entrances of every Metro Rail station. With the Nationals playing their first ever World Series championship, we're working with the district and our regional partners, obviously, to prepare for Games 3 and 4 and the unlikely event that there's a Game 5. More than 25% of the fans going to National Park take Metro. That's more than 10,000 fans. We would love that to be much more than 10,000. So please take Metro if you can. To support this historic World Series bid, we will again flex Metro Rail closing times at Navy Yard Station after each game as necessary, just as we've done throughout the entire postseason. That means that if the game runs later than our scheduled closing time of 1 a.m. on Friday or Saturday, we'll continue running the service from Navy Yard for 20 minutes after the game ends, so the fans can confidently choose Metro as they ride home. Metro will be a great option this weekend, regardless of where you're watching the game. We've cleared all track work from the schedule, so the trains will operate with good service at every station. Now I have some news to make. And in the, again, unlikely, but if it does occur, the event that there is a Game 5, Sunday night, Metro will stay open until 1 a.m. system-wide as well, just like Friday and Saturday. With those 2 extra hours of service powered by Pepco. Unlike Flex Time, which is from Navy Yard Station only, Pepco's support will keep the service running for customers entering at any station on any line throughout the region. Again, this is Sunday only if necessary for Game 5. This will make Sunday the 3rd consecutive night for full service throughout the Metro service system until 1 a.m., making it truly a World Series weekend. I want to thank Pepco Holdings for powering the extra service hours for our fans, viewing parties, Halloween festivities, don't forget, and the post-Marine Corps Marathon events. Now, if I may, I'd like to offer just a few quick tips for our fans taking the train to the game. First, if the game runs later than normal closing times, please know that Navy Yard Ballpark Station is the only station where customers can enter the system. All other stations will be exit only. Navy Yard Station has 2 entrances. Please don't forget that. For faster entry, consider using New Jersey Avenue entrance rather than the Half Street entrance. Most, if not all, trains will be 8 cars, so please spread out along the platform. There's almost always room in the last 2 cars of a train set. Next, if there is a wait to enter the station, anyone who's in the line 20 minutes after the game ends will be accommodated. Metro will have additional Metro Transit police officers throughout the system to ensure everyone's safety. While there are no specific, as the chief said, no specific security restrictions associated with this weekend event, we encourage everyone to travel as light as possible since the trains will be crowded. We're also coordinating with MPD and HCMA, and we'll have a staff at the district's command center throughout the World Series, in addition to activating our own command centers. We also welcome the Marine Corps Marathon this weekend with 2-hour early openings on Sunday morning with extra blue and yellow line trains to accommodate the high ridership of the participants and the spectators for that event. Finally, and perhaps the most important tip of all, make sure you have enough fair value in your Smart Trip card. Do it tonight, please, for your entire round trip. Do that in advance, and maybe you're right. Again, do that on your way home tonight. You won't have an issue when you're leaving the game on Friday or Saturday. Each traveler will need a Smart Trip card, except for children under 5 who ride for free. And again, Mayor, I wanted to thank you for the opportunity to be here today. And I want to thank the thousands of Metro employees who have adjusted their schedules in their personal lives, often on very short notice, basically to meet the needs of the system and meet the needs of our customers. We're ready for the World Series. We're ready for a very exciting weekend. And with that, Mayor, let's go Nats.
Let's go Nats. Thank you. Thank you. And I also want to welcome our host council member to the podium, who I know is our number 1 Nats fan for Ward 6, Charles Allen.
Thank you, Ms. Mayor. We're very excited that the Ward 6 Nationals have made it this far, the Washington Nationals. Ward 6 is excited. We're very happy. I want folks to know that I've got 100% confidence in the mayor and her team of being prepared for this. We do this, major events all the time. This is almost like having 3 all-star games just back to back to back over the course of this weekend. That's if we need Sunday. But I'm really excited. And for all the fans out there, whether you remember Ryan Zimmerman's first game or whether you're on the bandwagon and trying to figure out what Baby Shark is all about, we want you to come down and have a great time. This is going to be a really special weekend for our city to help play host to a lot of folks, and it's going to be an incredibly successful event. I'm confident with the team that we've got, and I think the mayor's got everybody firing on all cylinders to make sure this is going to go well. I think even just the common sense tips, like the chief said, just have a meeting point, for example. I know when I come down with my 3 and 7-year-old, we go ahead and designate a spot just in case. And so those are just really great tips. But I will echo the mayor as well. Please do not drive. Do not drive. We have a fantastic metro station for you just right down the block. You can walk, you can bike. I don't care how you get down here, but our neighbors, I know, would really appreciate you find something other than driving down here. It's going to be gridlock if you try it. There's so many other great ways to get down here. I really highly recommend Metro as well. I'll say that a few more times. But let's go Nats. Let's bring this home. I'm excited. Let's not talk about a parade. That's going to jinx things. We're confident that people that need to think about it are thinking about it. We'll get there when we get there. Hopefully on Saturday night we'll celebrate that. But let's go Nats. Very excited. And come on down, everybody.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Councilmember. Hey, Chief, Chris, if you join me at the podium, we'll take your questions.
We noticed barricades up that went up last week. A lot of no parking signs up. It seems like security is at a whole other level from the championship series. Describe what you had to do extra for the World Series.
So I think the chief has talked to you already about how we are mirroring our All-Star Game preparation in a lot of respects, including how we've changed the circulation around the stadium. And I'll have the chief or Chris weigh in additionally.
So the mayor's exactly right. This is very similar to what we did at All-Star. I think this is actually a little bit better because I think there's better transportation options to get people to and from the park. You heard the mayor say it. You heard the council members say it. The best tip out of all the tips we've given today is please don't drive if you don't have to come on down here. Avail yourself of the Metro or the other rideshare options. Take a bike, take a scooter, and come down and enjoy the game.
As far as security itself, what's your biggest concern as far as protecting people who come from anybody who might have bad intentions?
I already mentioned, well, of course, we're not going to tolerate anyone coming down here to prey on our visitors or anyone who comes to the game. We have seen, historically in other cities, we've seen celebratory events like this that have gotten out of hand. We have not seen that here in Washington, D.C. That's a testament, I think, to the fans and the folks that attend our sporting events here in the city. So we don't anticipate anything like that happening in Washington, D.C., but we will be 100% prepared in the event it does.
You have police in place on the metro station. Will there be an increase of police? Even though they're extending the hours to 1 a.m.?
Are you asking about the Metro Police?
Yes.
I'll ask Mr. Wiedefeld to come up.
I'm sorry, repeat the question.
Will there be an increase of metro police at the metro station?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Because every hour that we're open.
Yes, sir.
Being just the nation's capital, there is a ability that this city has that maybe some others do not. What advantage do you feel from a security planning standpoint of the nature of being the capital of the United States in handling large-scale events in the past, including major sports events recently, like the Capitals?
Yes, and certainly we had the recent experience of welcoming thousands of fans. Similarly, we saw our fans when our team was playing away, having big watch parties outside that required street closures and extra protection. We've seen that here at the Nats with thousands. I think they said they had up to 12,000 fans here. So 14,000 fans, so that we have the game day set up. The All-Star Game was also an excellent preparation for all of these games where we worked hand in hand with MLB, with the ownership group here for the Nationals, the Lerner family, and with our special events team. All of the people that you see here, they meet regularly. They plan many, many, many months in advance for big events, and they definitely know what to do to get this done. We also feel very strongly about our public transportation system being able to deliver people to all points in the region without people driving. I should say, I think the stadium is going to open starting at 5 p.m., so you can arrive early. The watch parties that are going to be happening in the Capitol Riverfront also happening early, so everybody doesn't have to try to get here at 8. You can start coming early. Yes.
Recommendations for fans in regards to ticket scams?
Chief, ticket scams is the question.
You know, as always, you always want folks to buy from a trusted source. So if you're not familiar with the source, then I would recommend that you don't purchase the tickets. There is a potential that somebody may sell you fake tickets. I think the worst thing a family could experience is anticipate going to such a great game and not being able to get in.
Any other questions?
All right, go Nats.
All right, thank you guys. Thank you.
Yep.
All right, well done.